interesting ways is whether it matters in the same way, whether it divides people in the same way, whether it's weaponized in the same way across these. So I'm going to start with you, actually, Rob, and just immigration is going to be one of the key issues in this election, isn't it? How do you think it will play out?
Yes, that's right. I mean, it's come right back onto the agenda in the past 18 months or so, and there's kind of a few obvious reasons for that. The overall numbers are very high, they're record levels. We've had the small boats issue, which has attracted a great deal of media attention, and we've seen a sustained Conservative campaign on it, Stop the Boats being one of Rishi Sunak's 5 pledges. We've had months and months of parliamentary wrangling over the Rwanda scheme, over the illegal migration bill, and so on and so forth. So this has been, a period where either intentionally or unintentionally, the Conservatives have been very, very strongly associated with arguments over immigration control. Now, how will it play out? I think it will play out rather differently to in past elections for a few reasons. Firstly, overall attitudes to immigration are still, despite the recent controversy, substantially more positive than they were in earlier periods. If you take 97, the last election where there was potential for a switch from a Conservative to a Labour government, immigration was much less salient in 1997, but the share of voters who said immigration was too high was higher than it is now, even though immigration was much lower at that point. If we look at many other measures of immigration, the public views about the impact of immigration on society in the 2000s, the early 2010s, much more negative than now. Secondly, we know it's back on the agenda. If you use the Ipsos Mori data, you can see a quarter of voters are now saying it's a top issue. But the partisan divide on that is absolutely stark. And that's completely new. It was not the case in 2010 or 2005 or 2001. It's now the number one issue for Conservative voters, but it's not even in the top 5 for Labour voters. So it's like you're talking to 2 completely different audiences. So as a strategy potentially for consolidating their side of the electorate, it makes sense for the Conservatives. But as a strategy for winning back swing voters who are going over to Labour, it makes much less sense. But then the third thing is, it doesn't work as a strategy for consolidating Conservative voters either, because the other thing that's changed about the opinion on immigration is that the public is overwhelmingly negative about the government's performance on it and doesn't believe the policies on Rwanda or the promises on Stop the Boats at all. It's one thing to say we're going to stop the boats and get voters to believe you, then that's a compelling campaign issue. If you say stop the boats and everyone laughs at you and says, well, that's never going to happen, mate, then all you're doing is handing a potent issue to parties to your right who aren't in government, won't be judged in the same way, and can say, they keep saying they're going to do this, but they keep failing. Vote for us, we will do it. Or vote for us to illustrate how annoyed you are about the fact that they keep saying they'll do it and don't. So it's just a very different dynamic to in the past, I think.